Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forge Alliance Forever. Today I have a 4v4 custom match here on the most famous map in all of Supreme Commanderdom. It is SETON'S Clutch. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. We'll start with Team 1 on the northeastern side, and then we'll end with Team 2 on the southwestern side. Starting off with Team 1's Cliff Rock position, we have as an Aeon, it is GLUMO. He is in orange color orange as a 2100. Going clockwise in the Causeway position, we have Nory. He is a Seraphim in Imperial Gray. He is tied for the highest rated player on his team and tied for the highest rated player overall with that same player on his team, which is north of his position in the beach slot. It is Foley playing as a Cybran in Blood Injury Red. He is a 2500. Moving on to Brigard Islay here for Team 1, we have in Amethyst Purple, it is Petrick playing as a Seraphim. He is a 1700. Also the lowest ranked player in the game. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 0 UEF, 1 Cybran, 1 Aeon, and then 2 Seraphim. Moving on to Team 2 side, starting in their Cliff Rock position, we have in Rust, it is Nuggets playing as a Cybran. He is a 2300. Moving to the Causeway position, already on his way to the middle in Chevy Crimson, it is Robogear playing as a UEF. He is a 2200. In the beach slot, moving to the middle Causeway as well, it is CumCitron playing in Lighter Strip Pink as an 1800. And then rounding off Team 2, we have as a Seraphim, it is Popiska playing in Royal Blue. He is a 2400, the highest rated player on Team 2. So for Team 2's overall faction makeup, they have 2 UEF, they have 1 Cybran, 0 Aeon, and then 1 Seraphim, if I can draw my ones correctly. So Team 1 is losing out on the UEF faction, Team 2 is losing out on the Aeon faction, but every faction is represented in this game. Let's take a look, of course, where these players are headed off to, which, of course, it is SETON'S, so we know where players are headed off to. They're headed to the middle of the map. We also have the beach players moving to the middle as well. I don't see any players anywhere else moving. We have seen one player move to the middle, being the Cliff Rock position one time. It made it a 3v2. I don't remember if that team ended up winning, but it was a nice little advantage to get a little bit more percentage of the reclaim. We already have Nory grabbing the first of the 3 Salems. We have Robogear grabbing his Salem. Looks like Nory's going to go on the other one. First Comic-Con action occurs between these two players, which of course is definitely going to happen because they are rushing for the reclaim. Looks like Nory's going to get the second of the third, undeterred of those Salem wrecks. Looks like Robogear is focusing on the T3 units. I believe they are Titans and Loyalists in the middle of the map. And more shots, just peppering those 2 commanders every so often. We do see Foley has now arrived. We do see CumCitron is here as well. So we will see some 2v2 action here shortly. It looks like Foley got here just split seconds before his Mirror of Citron. And Robogear is now taking a 2-to-1 battering. And in terms of reclaim, looks like Team 1's a little bit ahead overall. 11,000 to, well, now 11,000. So it's slightly in Team 1's favor. Not by much, though. It is a smidgen, but on SETON'S and also Dual Gap, the map has been spreadsheeted to death. So every second, every bit of mass, everything has been accounted for. And players know exactly, I need this amount of mass at X amount of time to build this amount of structures, to build this amount of ASFs or gunships or bombers or whatever, to be able to push, to be able to hold, to be able to do whatever else they want to do. We do see Robogear's in the yellow, same with Nory. We do see Citron's taking some hit. Now Foley's taking some hits. He's going to drop in the yellow, I think, very shortly. A couple more shots from the strikers are going to be enough. Yep, right on the edge there. Some units have arrived for Nory. So it is 2v2. We do see the comms of Team 2 is hanging out on the southern side of this nice little beach. Kind of use the water as advantage to maybe just regen a little bit. Foley's going to pop into the water, it looks like. Not go all the way underneath, but just go somewhat. So that way he can jump in just in case. We do see T2 upgrade started for Nory. T2 upgrade started for Robogear in the middle. They're probably going to lock down, I would assume, the mexes, the 1 mex on either side of the middle, and maybe just call it a day. Again, middle of the map definitely is one of those very quick, get all the reclaim, maybe get a kill, maybe, and then kind of hold back, maybe go into Navy, and then push on Navy or air. Usually it's Navy. Very rarely I see a air facility out of the Causeway players. Usually Navy. I mean, maybe air if you want to build some torp bombers, but maybe not T3. Couple of units from Team 2's Nuggets trying to aggressively position a facility very far forward, and it cuts down on travel time significantly. But again, it does put Team 1 in a position to easily overwhelm that. We do see his main facilities on the side island. Both teams have their side islands in their customary hands, so no denial or advantage one way or the other in that regard. And in the rigor slot for Team 1, T3 area is at 45%. Team 2 is at actually only 23%. So slightly ahead for Team 1. It can make a difference, but if, for example, Petrick does go for bomber by the time the bomber is built and then flies over, Team 2 is going to have T3 air online, probably have a couple of ASFs, and then it probably won't make a difference. So that's the amount of seconds that we're talking about in this very beautiful map that all of the AI just love to copy for whatever reason. We've had multiple games where it's just landmass, and then a middle causeway. That's been a couple of matches, and actually I have one that I know works that probably will be casted maybe next week or so, depending on when I just randomly pick one. That is another one of those, two landmasses with a causeway in the middle kind of maps, which aren't bad maps. They make up for, the all land maps that we have on this channel a decent amount, because I like Navy, so got to get those boats in there somehow. We do see Team 1's Foley starting to go on the edges of the beach and actually starting to push into Nuggets' position again. Very much a open ocean on that side, no facilities there. The facility in the middle did survive a little bit longer than I thought, but was eventually denied. We do see another one being built more conservatively in the middle of the pond. We do see T2 Navy is online for him, going for the, of course, sub-killers, not the sub-hunters, because they have to be named differently, those Cyberns. Eastern side, we do see Navy facility online for GLUMO. Not as much focus in Navy from either team on this southern pond. T2 Navy, not yet. A little bit more slower pace than the northern pond, which is just go, 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 go action from both players. And we do see Team 2, again, Team 1. They have their mechs, or this one mechs, I guess, is denied. Some PD there. That's probably going to be it for the middle of the map for now. T3 Air is online. And, of course, T3 Air is online. I do expect to see maybe T3 out of GLUMO, because he has Aeon, so he can go for those very, very devastating T3 Torp Bomber Solaces. Do tons of damage with those things. He is facing off against the UEF player, so we could see an Atlantis out from CumCitron. We could even see an Atlantis outbound from Robogear, because he's also going to be in Navy, as evidenced with those engineers right there. So it looks like he's going to help the northern pond. Usually, the cliff player or rock player has a just better deal with the extra mexes on this side of the map to push into the beach. We have seen beach players win. We have seen, essentially a stalemate. We've seen that before. It looks like Team 2's Robogear is just going to push that advantage and try to crash this northern position and then maybe just do land invasion, or even just collapse onto this causeway and kill that off as well. So we'll see how that works for Team 2's Robogear and for Nuggets. And then on the eastern side, I don't see any evidence that Team 1's Nory is going to go into Navy just yet. I'm surprised he hasn't even have one facility anywhere. He's getting some engineers to assist the naval production of Foley. So in that regard, he is assisting. He doesn't have his own facility, though. So it would be Cybern and Seraphim in the pond. So you have those nice little sneaky little Seraphim destroyers that can hide under the pond like those subs can. They are very, very useful for those kind of... I'm going to avoid most of your damage and just hide underneath the pond and call it a day. T2 Navy already online for Robogear. Just spam built that thing. T2 Navy from not even Team 1 or Team 2 yet. The upgrade's still not underway. And Team 1, T2 Navy is online. I am surprised that this facility wasn't handed over to just, I don't know, spend a little bit more mass for Nory, but I don't know. Everybody has their ideas about who should own what, when, where, and why, and how. Eco is very tight between the two teams. I mean, Team 1 and Team 2, I'd say roughly about, it was even there for a second, so maybe 10 mass a second, maybe on average, with all the back and forth of a little bit of reclaim, a little bit of upgrading, a little bit of, all that sorts of stuff. So I don't really expect that to see a huge divide yet. We're only 15 minutes on the clock. The game technically is not an epic because it's like 59 minutes and 50-something seconds. But, it's fairly close. If we rounded, it would be an hour even. So I might just label it as an epic in the thumbnail. I haven't made the thumbnail yet, so thinking about what image I want, because that's always in the back of my mind as I cast games. ARAS being built to Popiska's comm. Again, already injected his left arm. He's going to inject his right arm full of mass. Team 1's air player doing the same thing, injecting his right arm now after his left arm is injected with mass. Torpedo being built on Foley's comm. Again, maybe a little bit dangerous to do that, especially in SETON'S, but as long as he stays in the very much protected cove for now, he's going to be fine. If he pushes out, he will be targeted and he will be killed. That is a concern, especially if he doesn't go for stealth or even nano on board. So definitely something to watch out for. Myself, I'm pointing it out to myself to make sure I remind myself, but we'll see if I remember or not as the game progresses. No naval assistance from Team 2's Robogear to the east. We usually see a couple of engineers from GLUMO, which is definitely interesting. There's Team 2. Team 2 sees that they're there. We do see a ping, so maybe he'll just send a... Okay, he is... Nope, not sending a nice little Thunder class in. Just... Huh. Well, that's interesting. Maybe they'll make landfall and maybe land invasion. That'd be a very weird way to have a land invasion, to say the least. We have a couple of subs chasing down a decent amount of frigates. Those beacons do have torp defense, so it's not an easy win for the subs. That's a lot of frigates as well, so the torp defense is going to be pretty high and not allow any sort of torpedoes to hit the main hull plating of the units. We do see a couple of Valiants for Team 2's Robogear on station, as well as, again, a couple of T2 units from Team 1. Looks like it's some Sirens. We do see a couple of Salems as well. We don't see missile tech yet from Team 2. We do see a nice little bulwark. Oh, no, there's one right there. There's a governor there. And we could see an easy adoption of, I was going to say T3 or early adoption. And he's going to go for the Neptune. Yep, there it is, already in the queue. Love to see it. The engineers were killed off eventually. It was kind of a weird, just slow crawl along the map. But who knows? It could have worked. That's the most important thing. T2 Navy. Nope. Yep. Going maybe. Nope, not T3 straight. Just T2 so far. RAS being built on his comm. He can also go for ARAS. Only the Aeons and the Seraphim have that luxury of going for ARAS. Team 1 has a lot more forces here. And again, they are betting. Team 2 is betting on the bigger and badder Neptune class. Essentially, it's the Seraphim Destroyer on steroids. Not as rangy as the battleships, or not DPS, but HP heavy, but they do a lot of DPS. And again, Team 2 only having access to UEF, Team 1 does not, means that Team 1 just can't build their own. But they do have Aeons, so they can go for the Tempest-class battleship if they so choose to do so, specifically looking at GLUMO on that eastern front. No T3... Oh, no, he is going to go for T3 Navy, heavily committing to that. And again, he's pushing out to give him enough of a barrier and buffer zone to be able to get that online and then pump out a battleship or two. Looks like he's going to pump out all the battleships. That's why he's pushing in to try to just drive Team 2 back enough. We do see the Neptune is online. In terms of air, we are at 20 minutes on the clock. I think we can start slowing down things just a smidgen. Taking a look at Team 2 side, we see 80 ASFs for Petrick for Team 1, 58, so a little bit behind for Team 1 in air. Team 2 doesn't have dominance over air just yet. They have to get to 50 plus ASFs, but they're getting there. In terms of standouts in eco, we have GLUMO at 500 plus mass, so he's producing the most mass individually. And then for Team 2 side, we see a 400 from Popiska, and then we see CumCitron at 330, same kind of similar eco for Nory at 340. Foley, of course, is fully focused on Navy, so he's not upgrading all of his mexes as fast as maybe some other players in the game. But, he's doing a decent job of holding back Team 2's aggression. Again, it's a 2-to-1 game. We do see now it's maybe a 2-to-2 game in terms of Navy. Nory not investing in Navy just yet on the eastern front. Same thing, again, with the Team 2's Robogear, but he's not as invested as Robogear is in Navy. because he has T3 and he only has T1. He probably will spam up T2, I'd imagine, just to get the destroyers at a bare minimum. At least having that would be able to alleviate a little bit of pressure off of Foley so he can fully commit to battleships. But we do see, battleships are also being built for that facility as well. The only problem, again, with building the higher tiered unit is that if your opponent has a bunch of the lower tier unit, usually the lower tier units end up winning. So if there's one battleship versus, I don't know if it's 7 or 8 destroyers. I think it's 8, or it could be closer to 10. I don't know the exact math, but if your opponent has a lot more of the lower tier unit, that lower tier unit is usually going to win. They're going to take decent losses, but usually it's the destroyers win out, a 1 to 10 advantage, or I think it's less than that. I think it's 1 to 8, but again, I don't know the math off the top of my head. We do see an Atlantis is online. The problem with the Atlantis, of course, is it does not have torp defense. If it did, I do think it'd be the most powerful naval unit in the game, to be honest. Just because it has 40,000 hit points. It's a sub. It can build its own air units, specifically, of course, bombers, being torp bombers. So it has a very massive ability to do that. But it doesn't have torp defense, so you have to usually pair that with something with heavy torp defense. Yasows are a good combo because they also have torpedoes on board. You just put like 6 or 7 of them with each Atlantis, and they'll have enough torp defense to last a while. And now we see the Neptune is being focused on by Team 1. That is now eliminated from the game. There it goes. Second one is on station already. We have 4 or 5 battleships already spammed up, fully spending every single scrap of mass he can on that battleship. And, of course, Nory assisting heavily from this facility. And, the benefit of having the facility under the control of Foley is that you don't have to then transfer control of the unit to Foley because it's already under the control of Foley. You can just assist the structure being built. So that's a nice little pro tip if you're going to give the units over to the other player. Anyways, they could just have control of the facility, and then you can just assist like we see right here. So nice teamwork there from Team 1 on that northern pond. We do see it's working very well. Engineers already on station, scooping up reclaim as we go. Total reclaim accrued by both teams. Team 1, 67,000. Team 2, 48. They are doing a little bit better end of the deal in that regard. And again, a lot of the reclaim, again, is going to be in Navy because Navy units cost a lot of mass. We are seeing some units stack up in the south for Team 2 to scoop up as well, but a lot of the action is happening to the north, so that push from Team 2 might not go the way that they maybe think it's going to go. We do see some Barracudas here. They have torp defense, but now we see Team 1 is targeting the Atlantis specifically, and yeah, already lost 25% of its HP. Not doing too hot. Galaxies do have their own torpedoes. They don't have torp defense, however, so they are prone to being shot at, very similar to the Atlantis, but they do have more HP. We do see the aircraft carrier Atlantis sub thingy does have, again, AA on board, so it has surfaced to help deal with the bombers, but now we see the ASFs are there. They help as well, so it's kind of just we're just going to destroy those bombers and make sure nothing gets through kind of scenario. T3 Navy not online yet for GLUMO. T3 is online. We have 5 battleships online. No Neptune. What's going on with that? Oh, we see more Neptunes. Okay, never mind. Like, no Neptunes and you're a UEF naval. Oh, what's going on with that? You got to build those things. Third Atlantis has made an appearance. That is starting to stack up very dangerously for Team 1 to deal with. That's a lot of firepower. Granted, that one is heavily damaged, so they are going to be a little bit more cautious of that. But the range on these things are pretty good. I think it's the blue ring. Vision, of course, is the blue ring. And sometimes I wish it told me the exact range of everything based on colors. I do believe it is the blue, and then it's the AA with the green. So there is that. Like the Omni is usually the same color for every unit. It's the Chevy Crimson ring. Aeon, not Aeons, but comms have them. So we do see the missile. Actually, not. Why does he have them? Is he upgrading? No. Why does he have a huge? Usually that's the missile range. Why does he have that without even having the missile upgrade? That strikes me as a little odd. Maybe he was building it and then canceled it and still is there, but usually it's not there unless you actually have the missile done. That's a little odd. Anyway, to the north, Air Forces are stacking up even more for Team 1 and Team 2. Petrix at almost 200 even, and Popiska is at 237, so still about 30 to 40 for Team 2. And then again, it is Seraphim versus Seraphim, so there's no faction advantage in terms of, you know, one ASF performing better in bigger or smaller dogfights. And kills on a couple of, I think, the destroyers. Those wouldn't be a bad thing to take out earlier than the battleships because they have torp defense. Those battleships do not. So again, you shoot at everything that can shoot at you and then shoot at everything else because their opponent can no longer shoot at you kind of thing. We do see more and more battleships starting to stock up now for GLUMO. We do see some SACUs hiding in the water. They have, of course, RAS on board to increase the eco. Team 1, that's starting to be a dangerous amount of eco ahead for Team 1. We have 2K to 1.5. It's a lot of mass to be ahead at 28 and 29 minutes. Team 1 might be thinking about how to end the game maybe a little bit sooner than Team 2. I don't see a plan yet. Again, they have access to the Paragon, the YOLO, and the Scathis. Team 2 has access to the Mavor, the YOLO, and the Scathis. Now, I don't see any plans yet. Lots of mass FAF farms being built for Team 2 as well. Obviously, some going for the stationary generation of mass, and some going for the mobile. But here comes those Solaces. And again, they do a lot of damage. They're going to one-tap that Neptune real quick. And look at them just drop those payloads. I like how they drop them straight down instead of at an angle. I just like the animation different, but just absolutely obliterated those hit points. Just and gone. Oh, look, and they got a nice little Valiant out of it as well. So lots of dead stuff going to happen from Los Solaces from Team 1. But the Atlantis are starting to push, and now we have some SACUs. Some support. They don't have RAS. The Seraphim are the only ones that don't have access to RAS presets, or even just RAS in general, for their support commanders, which is fine because every faction can't have everything. I get that. That's why they're giving them when they play in Phantom games. But it's still, you know, 3 mass a second, which isn't the best, but it's better than 0. Better than 1 and better than 2, just numerically wise. I think that's a word. I was going to say numerology, but I think that's the study of numbers. We have T2 Vespers going after T4 Atlantis, and the numbers, I mean, they are dying for Team 1, but there's a lot of Atlantis inbound. There's a lot of SACUs inbound. I think if anybody's going to build a game ender soon, it's going to be GLUMO. He's getting a lot of mass under his umbrella. Lots of T2 Salem spam. And this is what I was talking about with a lot of destroyers going after, you know, in this example, battleships. Is just there's so many of them for the battleship to fire on that it's just they lose hit points super quickly. A lot of T1 spam in terms of frigates. We do see some Solaces also mixed in there. Again, these Atlantis need to stay under the water because they're going to get obliterated by battleship fire. You can ground fire Atlantis, but it's just easier when you don't have to deal with that function, that mechanic of the game. Atlantis is being built by Nory. Looks like you got some some Aeon engineers donated over by GLUMO. And it's going to be a minute before that's done, but another Atlantis is gone. And it's just still not looking good for Team 2 in that regard, just because there's, again, a couple of Solaces do absolutely immense amount of work. And now we have GLUMO just absolutely running over the southern pond. His opponent of CumCitron's at 500 mass income. GLUMO's at 800. Not double that of his opponent, but a severe advantage. Team 2 is catching up, though. Overall, it's 2.1 to 1.9 now. We have the lowest eco on Team 2 at 300. Then we have 400, 500, and then 600. Team 1, it's I'd say 400, 400, and then 450 with GLUMO at 900. Lots and lots of mass being just heaped up and thrown into whatever project they're working on. I do see an SMD in the main base as well as the customary location for the air base. Love to see that. There's an SMD on the shoreline just in case they target the headquarters. Nice grab there. And no SMD, no SMD, no SMD. That may be a target for an SMD. No. Oh, no, there's one right there. Team 1, you have an SMD there and one there. Love to see backups. One there. Nothing there, and customary one there, nothing in the base. So there are some targets for both teams to exploit with some nukes, but no one has gone for it just yet in terms of what I have seen. 33 minutes on the clock. Nobody has died. We love to see that, especially past 20 minutes at a bare minimum. It's 33 minutes now, so everybody made it past 30 as well. Team 1 slowly winning the eco wars at 2.1 to 1.8, 1.9. Map advantage, I want to say it goes to Team 1 just because we have a huge amount of presence in the southern pond and, of course, the eco advantage in that direction. We are seeing, again, a decent back and forth in the north, so it's not a guarantee one way or the other. There's now some Tempest versus some Atlantis online, so it's kind of starting to even out a little bit. So I'm going to say Team 1 for the map percentage advantage. But again, this map, there are no mexes in either pond. Ponds are very fluid, so it can go either way very quickly. So let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game at 34.5 roughly minutes. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really, really do appreciate it. And of course, if you haven't, why not at this point? Like button, subscribe, share, hype the video, whatever. I think that's like a thing that you can do on YouTube now. So really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And let's take a look at these nice little skimmers just skimming the top of the water as they just start annihilating some Atlantis. But then, oh, look at this. Just a glorious naval nuke would wipe out a bunch of battleships for Team 1. 2 Tempests are nearby. Of course, they can build naval units. The only naval unit in the game that can also build naval units on board. Very similar to how the Fat Boy works. But for the Aeons, it can only build up to T2, though. So unlike the Fat Boy, where it can build everything from T1 to T3, the Tempest can only build up to T2, which again makes sense because that's the housing, like the little chunk taken out of the back. You can't really fit a battleship or a torrent out of that. I couldn't imagine spamming torrents out of Tempests. Just like, yeah, we'll just put a couple of Tempests up here, build a bunch of torrents, and then just missile spam the everything out of them. So definitely one of those balancing things. I couldn't even imagine that. I do see lots of gunships starting to stack up for Team 2's air player Popiska. They again are the only gunship that the Seraphim can build. The nice little Volthus. And we'll see what he ends up using him for. We do see some aggressive AA being built by GLUMO, essentially limiting Team 2's ability to move air around the map. We do see a lot of Team 1 AA down there. Nothing too crazy. But for T2 gunships, it is definitely a concern. And to the north, Team 1 is starting to push back a little bit more. Lots of Team 1 spam facilities for either engineers or just frigates. I don't sense anything from Team 2 yet in terms of game enders. They wouldn't build it there. That's a little bit too far forward, especially for this map. Oh, there it is. I was going to say they're going to build it somewhere. YOLO is now coming online. Apologies for the cut there. My hard drive that I record these casts on and my videos in general filled up entirely full of space. I didn't clean it out apparently. So apologies for that. We're back. But yeah, I got the OBS message that you ran out of space, and I went, what? So I cleaned up a lot of it and then restarted the recording. So apologies for that. Anyway, we have gunships attacking some omens. They're not committing to the fight, which is again fair because there is just a bunch of AA just slowly building their way southward to the north. Again, it's Atlantis versus Tempest. There's 4-4. Are they hiding? No, they're not hiding. So they are able to use the longest weapon, at least direct fire weapon, in the naval arsenal for this game against Team 2. Are they trying to ground fire? No, they're just going after all the other supporting facilities. I do hear an SACU blow up. It is not a comm, luckily. And there is an Awasa inbound. And I have a sinking suspicion what it is after. It's going to grab the T3 naval headquarters. That's going to be a great bomber. Going to kill off a ton of engineers as well. Oh, just absolutely demolished those engineers and a mechs as well. 3 battleships come off the assembly line and the facility goes down. And that is not going to be good for Team 2. Actually, the Awasa bomber is going to go home, which is a little odd because Team 1 knows where the air units for Team 2 are. Maybe they're thinking maybe they'll send some in, just a handful or so to deal with it. So it is a smart thing to pull it back, but maybe he'll notice, oh, they're down there. And so we'll just target those facilities again. I don't see... I guess they're going to target naval units now? It's not a bad idea. They have a nice AoE to them. And now we have the T1 spam getting into it with the Tempest. Again, Very similar to that conversation earlier about lower tier units, just having a lot of them going after higher tier units. And it's kind of working, but that one is sinking underneath the surface. That way it can get away from everything. There are, I was going to say, some torpedoes being fired, so it's not going to be an entire win. The Tempest does have torque defense on board, so it can just deal with some of that firepower. GC in the base from Team 1's GLUMO. Looks like it just walked across the map, or it was built somewhere nearby and then walked out of the pond. Something like a kaiju or something. The GC is going somewhere. I don't know why it's not going that way. Maybe it's trying to avoid the PD being built, but it'd be able to stop it pretty quickly. We have T2 artillery being targeted, but Team 1 is going to eliminate the naval base for CumCitron. I mean, there's just so much eco for GLUMO. It's 900 to still almost not even 600, so there's so many more units for Team 1. And again, the Solaces are helping a ton, just to eliminate lots of high HP units very, very quickly. YOLO is over 25%, sorry, over 50% done in climbing. Team 1, the big question, you are aware of it. You haven't pinged it yet, but you are aware of it. Team 1, we do see a nuke is online, not loaded yet. Love to see those. I love me some nukes, obviously, as evidence of most people that watch my content, especially with the nukes involved. The kabooms come out, and it gets pretty fun depending on how much stuff gets killed and how impactful those nukes are. And it's just, yeah, it's just not gonna go anywhere for Team 2 at this point. I mean, Team 2 has lost Southern Pond. They need a win in Navy, or it's gonna become a one-sided game very quickly. I mean, the eco is already at 2.6 to 1.8, so it's already kind of favoring Team 1 at this point. ASFs, oh, they're gonna engage. They might take the fight. They're at 500 for Team 1 versus Popiska's at 500, so it's about dead even for air. That's 1,000 plus ASFs on the battlefield right now, or in the battlefield, because they're not actually on it, because they're in the air and not on the ground. So I was just coming in to deal with, looks like, all the Atlantis and other units from Team 2, and looks like the ASFs are just there to say hi. Why are they? Oh, it looked like they were targeting their, I was like, why are they targeting their own Solaces? It just looked like that. Another Tempest is online, another one coming online. We have 5 of them dead in the pond here from Team 1. We have multiple Atlantis dead in the pond. We have another one dead there. Team 2 has lost a lot of their forces. And now it looks like it's just going to be actually just a bunch of Team 1 spam with a couple of higher tiered units. Not looking good for Team 2, especially in the south, but also in the north. It's a lot of spam. At this point, maybe just focus the YOLO and just get that thing loaded, fired very quickly. CumCitron losing his core mass and now starting to maybe lose his exterior secondary base. Oh, a little cascade there kills off all those mass fabs. And then the P-Gen's going to do it anyway, but, you know, it was going to bound to happen with all those mass fabs sitting next to those P-Gens. My small planes are gone, says Nuggets. Oh, that's sad. Those little T1 Flying Eye Air Scouts. That's unfortunate. We have SACUs reclaiming frigates. That's something I have seen before. And it's aggressive, you know. They're just sitting there and they've just floated right over to them. Might as well just right-click them a couple of times and just scoop them up. Get a little bit of reclaim out of it. Fund the torp launches that are being built, but I don't know how much is that going to do. We do see YOLO is outbound. The first nuke of the game is a YOLO. And Team 1, of course, is aware of it because they've seen it. You know, that they haven't pinged it 100%, but they're at least aware of the icon. YOLO is inbound. Team 1 has been prepping some SMDs here. 3 loaded there, 0, 0, and 0. Looks like it is slightly off to the left, so it might be aiming for the nuke from Team 1. They haven't done much scouting in a minute, so they don't know about that. But it will probably take 3 YOLOs to go through because the first one will be shot down. The second one might be shot down because it's working on its 4th, now its 2nd SMD, and it is going to go for Nory's base. Airfight happens. Oh, I apologize for missing it, but heavily in favor for Team 2. I don't know what they were trying to send in. Maybe, oh, they were sending some strats in, but that is, oof, a lot of dead ASFs for Team 1. They had, again, almost 600. Now they're down to 87. And Popiska's probably at 600. Oh, no, not 600. He lost more ASFs than that. 400. So air is owned by Team 2 for now. Another nuke is inbound. Again, did that SMD load in time? It is going to load in time. It's going to take a third one to wipe out that base, and then it's just a slow push northward. Lots of SMDs being built. I don't see any built in the main base for Petrick. I would like to see it one, if not two of them built in that base, but yep, there goes that second one, does fire in time. But now the third one is definitely going to land, unless these SMBs get loaded fast enough, which nope, 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 and nope, none of those are going to load fast enough. First YOLO will land here shortly, 43 minutes on the clock. And we do see the causeway position for Robogear and the beast position for CumCitron have lost significant amount of mass. Team 2 is actually half that of Team 1 for mass income. That is not good. That is not sustainable, especially on SETON'S. Unless you get some very cheeky plays, that is not going to be good for Team 2 at all. So it's still anybody's game, especially with the YOLO. But it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle for Team 2 for sure. Engineers are fleeing the scene. And now we see probably this might be the next target. Yeah, SMDs barely got built. Oh, yeah, right there, killing up the headquarters. Again, it'll be nice, alleviate a lot of pressure. And, of course, kaboom! Wipes out that entire base. SMDs are all gone. Mexes are gone. That 6 mechs is gone for Nory. He does still have some eco remaining, though. Yeah, about 400. Most of his mass, it looks like it's an SACUs. Definitely smart, especially being the Causeway player. And nukes are probably not going to land over here for a little bit. We have 4 there. We have 6 there. We have another one there. There's 5 loaded in that one. And again, with the almost 1,000 amount of mass that GLUMO has had for a while, I mean, he's able to load those things pretty quick. And a lot of them at a time. That is the one downside of the YOLO, is that it can be countered very easily if you just have enough SMDs being loaded. Another YOLO is inbound. Is it going to go to the same location? A little bit further north. So it's going to wipe out some more eco for Team 1. Kaboom! Wipes out the T3 Naval headquarters. That's very, very big. Prevents construction of more battleships for Team 1's. Foley, we do see some ASFs from Team 1's. Petrick killing off a ton of bombers for Team 2. Again, they're targeting the battleships and those, well, I guess they are battleships, but the Tempest specifically. SMDs are going to be safe because they're outside of the range of the YOLO. Nuke is not loaded yet. My fear is that Team 2 does not have an SMD. They do. Okay. Is it loaded? Yes, they do. We have a GC in the front line going after Robogear. Robogear survives only because of the shield that he built on his comm. Is that same GC from earlier? It could have been. That's a lot. That's, wow. That's, sir, how many is that? No. Jeez. How many ASFs again? He has more Team 1 bombers than he has ASFs. Granted, it's a lot easier to spam bombers. At least those ones. That's a lot. Jeez, that's a lot of bombers. That's a lot. Lots of Team 1 spam just everywhere over there for Team 2's nuggets. And Nuke is inbound. Again, the SMDs are not going to load in time, so that chunk of eco will be destroyed for both, actually, Nory and Foley. No plans to end the game from Team 1. We have Torrents being built and using the longest range naval unit. At least the ones that don't have a nuke on board. Oh, it fell short. I thought it went... Oh, it did land. I missed it. So, kaboom! And then, kaboom! I thought it landed. It didn't land already, but it did. Spy plane's getting a nice little readout what Team 2's up to. YOLO's already killed off 219,000 mass. It is his first star vet already. Yeah, we have Torrents now raining in the missiles. Again, decent range on those things. We have 3 of them online for Team 1 right now. That's their effective range. You essentially say they can hit all the way up to that SMD there. If they sit probably right about there, they might... I think they might be able to clip that. We have a GC down in the south. That's not going to be fun for Team 2 at all. Bombers are inbound for that location. YOLO lands. Again, it killed off a chunk of SACUs. Kaboom! It's killing off eco for Nory and just production in general, just because those are SACUs that he's producing. And we have bombers also targeting the Tempest. Another one is going to be gone here very shortly. There goes that one. It'd be really funny if they focused the Aeon engineers. There's only a couple of them that Nory has access to. It'd be really funny if they're like, oh, we're just going to wipe out your engineers so you can no longer build stuff. So, ha. And another YOLO. So that's 3 nukes fired on the Navy. Oh, that one's going to just essentially just swim right into range. Ooh, that's going to hurt. That battleship's like turn. That should be dead. Oh, that is odd. That thing survived? Really? That struck me as odd. It must have been outside of the initial range, maybe. But it definitely just swam right into it, so it's a little odd. It did take some damage, so it was in the initial blast radius. That's a very, very quick T3 air quarters. He's going to lose. Oh, ooh, I missed this. Apologies. T3 air quarters knocked out. He still has an SMD back there. YOLO going to land on the beach, killing off a ton of torrents that were built up. That's very unfortunate for Team 1. I think most of those torrents are now gone. There's, 2 more remaining. There's a GC there that took some damage. Another YOLO's inbound. I mean, it's killed off a lot of mass, to be fair. It's currently sitting at 364,000, almost at its 2nd star event. YOLO is now going to have some nuke contention with the one from Team 1. Nice little tiny little Hastue in comparison. And YOLO is inbound, I would assume, for the side island, because that'd be, kills off 5 mexes. Single ring, 27 times 5. That's 135 mass. I only know that because it's 25 times 5 plus 2 times 5. So 135. Look at that. Nuke is inbound for the side island for Team 2 as well. So they're going to nuke each other almost simultaneously. I don't think it's over far enough to clip the other mexes, though, so kaboom. It does wipe out the headquarters, though. That's the most important thing. And there goes the nuke from Team 2. It is going to wipe out all the mexes and the everything else there from Team 1, so kaboom. No HQ, says Petrick. So essentially both naval players have lost their headquarters at least once. On the north side, at least. And still more Tempest. It's just bread and butter for Nory. Just keep spamming those things up. Another GC. Actually, that's a chicken. Where'd that GC go? Is it down here? Strats on the southern edge. They get spotted by Team 2. They get killed off pretty quickly. Oh, there's the GC. There's the chicken. I mean, Team 2 is decently well with the reclaim, though, but Team 1, 700,000 mass. That's a lot of mass in reclaim. Most of it's gone to GLUMO and Nory. Players in the pond, which makes sense. Team 2, it's Nuggets and Robogear, both players in pond to the north. Another YOLO is inbound. It looks like it's going to go after GLUMO's base. The only issue with that is there's a lot of SM. Hey, look at that. There's a Paragon. Hey, second game ender has made its appearance in this game. Love to see that. He has 11 of them. I wish it showed you how many total, SMDs that were in it. So there's 6 there, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and probably 13, 14, 15, looks like it was 15 or 16. So at a bare minimum, it's going to be 9 YOLOs if none of them load. But the problem is they're all loading, so maybe add about half that to the mix, depending on how fast the YOLO fires from Team 2. So probably 24. So it's about 13 YOLOs at a bare minimum it's going to take to crack that position. That's a lot of firepower. Now, you can spam load those things decently quick, but, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it would be more worth it to maybe invest in another YOLO or just a regular nuke to maybe just slowly whittle them down more. A second YOLO would take a while, to be fair. So, I don't know. It's going to come down to, can they fire the YOLO fast enough to maybe eliminate GLUMO's position? And if they can, even if they do, I mean, the air has kind of been decimated for Team 1 anyways. Team 2 has, again, lost a decent chunk of their air as well. They're at 200 bingo on field with only 57 of them fully active. So a lot of their air is crippled. It's still there. It's just crippled. Team 1 still has those 2 SMDs, and now they're loaded. There's even more of them added to the mix. So, everywhere else is getting harder to deal with in terms of nukes. And now the nuke is actually going elsewhere, so it's giving even more time for Team 1 to prep defenses. Engineers being lifted over from Nory. Looks like, yep. I was going to say, probably going to do more SMD or shielding. Maybe just in case Team 2 does some radical bomber There's not a lot of AA from Team 2. I am surprised we're not seeing more aggression in air from Team 2, given they've had the advantage for a while. Here comes the Nuke, killing off the new headquarters for Team 1. Kaboom! Kills that off. Did they build a backup one anywhere? Nope. The Team 2 rebuilt theirs. They're working on it now. They're charging in. They might be able to get to the beach and maybe eliminate the SMDs there. And that would kind of break Team 1's defenses on that side of thing and let the YOLO actually land some more up there. But, you know, you can't. It's like artillery. You can't be shooting at two different locations, you know, back and forth. You can't be hot swapping because one is going to get a lot of defenses online. The other one might not. The other one might. But if you're not focusing on one target, then it's going to allow both targets to survive 100% instead of maybe less than 100%. And like I said, it's loading pretty quickly. I will add that, but I need to switch it back to regular eco because I forgot. Team 2, look at that. 550 mass for Team 2. Team 1, 2.6k mass. They've accrued 1.5 million mass more than Team 2. That is a lot. A heaping metric ton, if not more than that, of mass to be ahead at this point in the game. 51 minutes on the clock and climbing. SMD fires. SMD fires again. I mean, again, the YOLO's wiping out Team 1 naval facilities, maybe some T2. But, I mean, it's not really impacting the game that much because the Tempests are really what's keeping this fleet back from Team 2. Besides those, they could rush in and kill the facilities and then be done with it. So going after some Team 1, yeah, it's going to be a little bit easier, but 1%, 2% maybe easier. I mean, there's just more SMDs loading all the time. This one's going to be maxed out here soon. This one's at 2. This one's at 2, 2, 2, 1, 1. So what is that? 2, 4, 6, 10 right there. 17, we'll say. 18, 19. I mean, we'll say 20 maybe. And then, of course, we have SMD there. So, oh, he has the Paragon online going for salvations. Now it's just any moment now it's going to target that YOLO and kill it off. It's just kaboom. There's not really much that Team 2 can do at this point unless they focus everything and the kitchen sink and the dryer and the washing machine and the fridge and everything else in the kitchen room and dining room and living room and wherever other room in the house. Take out the Paragon. My thoughts is they don't even know it's there. Which they don't. They don't know it's there. Yep. That's, yeah, that's unfortunate for Team 2. You can't target the YOLO. Target the Paragon if you don't know the Paragon exists. Taking that out. Tempest was out of range. It shouldn't be killed off in this explosion. It should be fine. It did take some damage, but didn't die off. No, everything else is dead. Oh, yeah, it's fine. There it goes. There goes another YOLO from Team 2. I mean, it's doing some decent numbers. It's at 500,000 mass killed, but that Paragon's going to outpace anything that Team 2 can do very quickly. Donuts being built. Of course, Salvation's being built. More air facilities, I would assume, for bombers, whether they're strats or torpedoes. And there goes another YOLO, same spot. Not really going to do a lot of death and destruction. YOLO already half done for GLUMO. Honestly, he might just use that. Another YOLO is going to be built right next door because why not? As always, okay, so he's taking the Paragon rule and he's applying it to the YOLO. If he's not going to build a bunch of Paragons, he's just going to build a bunch of YOLOs. I guess he's giving one over to each of his other teammates. 54 minutes in, it looks like Team 2 has pretty much finally won their Navy northern side, but yeah, I don't know if it's going to matter at this point. Boom, boom, there goes the YOLO. Another one is inbound. Are they aware of it at this point? Still not aware of it at this point. Man, just unaware of the big, giant, glowing object that's producing up to 10,000 mass a second. It's at 7,000 right now. Utilization is very well. It's at 70%. And look at this, a bunch of Team 1 frigates just bullying this nice little Tempest. We have some harms in the water helping out. But besides that, that's pretty much it for Team 1's Navy. Nuke is inbound from Team... Do not tell me you just nuked. Oh, that would have been funny if they nuked the frigate spam. Looks like they're inbound for... Maybe Nuggets is comm. Yeah, it looks like they're targeting his comm, but they're going to miss. Nobody has died still. 55 minutes in the game, and nobody has been killed. We could have a non-death game. Usually somebody dies, but we could have one of those games where no one dies. We've had some comm become action, but no deaths so far. There goes the nuke. Kaboom. I mean, again, they tried to snipe Nuggets. He moved. I mean, I think he was going to move anyway. Another YOLO is inbound. Third donut is online. We have 2 GCs in the water. We have more we have more donuts. We have another donut being built there, just right off the shoreline. Another nuke from Team 1. It is a YOLO, so that's number 1 YOLO. It looks like they canceled that one. Number 2 YOLO is going to be done. Number 3 YOLO is going to be done. Where are you building another Paragon? Oh, right there. Okay, he's going to build another Paragon now. Should have started one earlier, but, you know, priorities and building YOLOs and stuff. I get it. No SMD? Ooh. Oh, there's one there. Okay. Oh, it fires 4! 4 of them were killed off by that one YOLO because the first one initially missed. Yeah, that is super rough. Again, it's supposed to be 2, not 4. We've seen 3, but it's rare. That is super rare that it's 4. Dang. That if Team 1 was to do that every single time, that is devastating for Team 2 in terms of defenses. It just is. They probably still have no idea that it's... Well, there's a recall vote. Oh, somebody said no. I think out of a 4-player game, it takes 3 of them to cast a vote. So it looks like... Yeah, I don't think they're gonna pass the vote. YOLO is inbound. Oh, again! It misses again! That's the second time that's happened, back to back. Another 3 SMD on 1 nuke. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. That's odd. But here comes the Salvation Fire. Shields are being assisted. And the boiler shields are being built. But I don't know. The grid's collapsing. How many ASFs with no fuel? And Nugget says, I'm going in. Are you telling me? Wait, where'd you go? Oh, there he is. Hey. Is he just going to hang out and try to just distract Team 1? I mean, it's not going to do a whole lot. The game, 57 minutes in, is probably not going to do a whole lot for the kill. But, you know, it'll be a kill nonetheless. And that SMD set fires perfectly fine. YOLO, on, off for shielding. Another YOLO fires. That's number 2. Looks like everyone's going to get a YOLO. They could. He's working on number 4 right now. And... there goes Nuggets. He is going to die by this Awasaw bomber. There he goes. So we are going to have a death. Team 2 loses the first player of the game. Team 1 scores first blood at 57 minutes. Absolutely a late first blood. But, you know, games like this, maps like this, kind of lends itself to more later game kills. It does give Popiska some more mass to play with for his YOLO, but facing 2 YOLOs and a bunch of donuts, yeah, good luck with that. And Salvation Fire, is there 2 of them now? There's 2 of them now. What is that, 3 YOLOs? 3 YOLOs, soon to be 4 YOLOs. Yeah, that's a lot of firepower. SMDs are not going to hold, especially with all the nonsense that's been happening with them. Shields are on off, but Popiska is still hanging in there. Oh, all the shielding is gone for the most part. Now it's just the slow death of the YOLO. Popiska has to get out of there. He will die by the YOLO's explosion. Shield pops online, and then shield pops offline because the AoE spread on the shots from the Salvation. Another YOLO is inbound. There's 4 of them. There's a random nuke thrown in there. Is there any SMDs loaded? That one's loaded. Donuts are going to go that away, it looks like. 1 and 2. Very simple, very easy. Just fires it and fires it again. No missing, no nothing. YOLO fires at the last second. Did he nuke himself? Kind of looked like he nuked himself almost. We'll see. No, he did not. Okay. Oh, wait. No, he did. The YOLO lands to the north. He nuked himself. That's one way to go out. Kaboom! Kaboom! They keep saying my name. I love it there, game. 310,000 mass reclaimed for Nory. Popiska control Ks. Obviously, that was a control K. And 290 for Nuggets. We have Donuts being killed off by no fuel ASFs. And now it's a 4v2 game in favor for Team 1. I mean, it's been Team 1's game for about, I'd say, 10 minutes now. Another... Oh, my goodness. Look at all those sub-bombers. Look at them all. Look at them all. There's 13 of them. Granted, they're not all done yet. Fourth Paragon? It's a fourth Paragon. Fourth YOLO? Nope. Looks like they stopped the process. Why are you loading SMDs? You don't need to load SMDs. Another Paragon is done. Second Paragon is done. 2 Paragons. 3 YOLOs. 2 Salvations. And a Partridge in a Pear Tree. 2 YOLOs inbound. One after the other. And they're going to just bomb Team 2's player of Robogear out of existence. And boom, boom. Oh, look at that. Just immense explosion. CumCitron has recalled because he's like the last one there anyways. And that is the game. 59 minutes and 52 seconds, 53 seconds, 52 seconds. And there's a desync, but who cares about the desync at the very end? You would be proud, says Foley. That is the game here. MVP goes to GLUMO because, I mean, his eco advantage was obviously instrumental in winning the southern pond, and the fact he got the Paragon online, got the YOLOs online, got the Salvations online. I mean, his eco was just very, very high this game, and he did very well of just winning his side and then just, okay, I'm going to build my stuff now, and then one final push. I mean, we had Team 2 finally win the northern pond, but they won it way too late, and at that point, they couldn't put enough pressure this way, and it kind of just became how long can Team 1 last on that side, and they lasted essentially the entire game, so props to them. Let me know down in the comments who you felt deserves MVP. Again, I think GLUMO gets it, in my opinion, but thanks so much for watching to the very end of the video as always, and I will see all of you in the next one.